And hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of the Pumpkin Copter Cast, the only video game show. And today I am joined by Ruby, and she is going to be saying some word talks about video games and being a streamer and, just all that. And you can thank her for actually being able to see her on screen because she just
Hi.
helped me fix OBS because she is technologically literate and I am not. And anyway, hello, Ruby.
Hi. It's nice being here. uh,
Sorry, you go ahead.
I just wanted to say I'm Charity Goblin Ruby. Anything I stream always goes to charity, so you know that's kind of my thing.
And yes, we'll start. How about we start with just a little introduction of you?
All right. Well, I don't know what to say. I'm a video editor by trade.
Mm-hmm.
In my spare time, I'm as you see me. And I do nothing but game in my spare time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, and rock climb, but you know, that's less interesting, in my opinion. Yeah, and I'm your friendly neighborhood goblin.
Yep. Now, are you also do you D&D, and if so, is your character a goblin?
Yes. Actually, this character Ruby, it was originally a D&D character of mine. She was a celestial warlock, and she survived her campaign, and she became a very powerful character in her universe.
Well, the picture representing me that you see started out as just my own special bit of nonsense and turned into a video game character, and I love telling this story just because it sounds like something I would make up if this were a TV show. But back in the ancient year of 2018, I think one of my favorite YouTube animator Geo the Bio made a video about a segment that the McElroy's brothers did in My Brother and Me, like the hypothetical Big Debbie, Lil Debbie's badass grandma. And I was like, and then when they posted that video, I was like, hey, why don't I should cut? What if I cosplayed that character? And then they basically encouraged me to do it, and then I bought all of the cosplay stuff, which is pretty easy since it's just my regular hair, a sun hat, a shirt I can only describe as a picnic table, regular jeans and some shoes, and the Infinity Gauntlet I decided to add later just because that is just there's two things just you do not naturally associate. And then over the years I have created an unnecessarily elaborate original character family of the Debbies. There's Big Debbie, Little Debbie's grandma. There's Medium Debbie, her dad. There's Big Debbie's husband, Milo from Pokemon Sword and Shield.
I see.
And Little Debbie's younger brother, the Orphan of Kos, because I was like, what if I adopted him? Anyway, and then
That's amazing.
yeah, I called, yeah, I do have to, yeah, and the display picture showing me in this video is I actually commissioned from Geo the Bio when they were doing Twitter thumbnails. But anyway, I will blab more about my original character family another time because Ruby, it is your time. And but before we get to the interview part of the interview, we're gonna do just my own little bit of nonsense. We're gonna be playing a game I made up a few years ago that I try and get all my new time guests to play at least once. We are going to
All
be
right.
playing Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Dark Souls.
All right. So I assume you're going to name either a boss or card, and I have to guess whether it's from Yu-Gi-Oh or Dark Souls.
Yes, because if there's one thing Yu-Gi-Oh! And Dark Souls have in common, is that a surprising number of cards have names that sound like, what if a gothic horror fantasy writer had a nightmare. So
Yeah.
yes, we'll start with. Let's see. I'll just pack some of the many Yu-Gi-Oh cards I have. So and look at a display of Dark Souls bosses. So the first
Oh, this
one,
is going to be fun.
Ruby. The first one is Earthbound Immortal Kapakapu. Yu-Gi-Oh or Dark
Yu-Gi-Oh.
Souls. Yep.
I know the Earthbound Immortals.
Uh, yeah.
I know both Yu-Gi-Oh and Dark Souls. I'm sorry.
It's fine. This. You're right. It's from Yu-Gi-Oh, Yu-Gi-Oh 5Ds, also known as the glorious era that is card games on motorcycles, and
Yeah.
probably what the Colossi from Shadow of the Colossus would look like if they were slightly more anime. Yeah, let's see. The next one, just look at the list of things I have. Let's see. Let's see. What's one that sounds like nonsense? Hmm. Let's see. All right. Next up, Ruby is Ebrietas, Daughter of the Cosmos. Yu-Gi-Oh or Dark Souls or anything from Software is made.
That would be. That's a Dark Souls boss.
Yeah, it is from Bloodborne, which is basically British Dark Souls. So yeah, you
Yeah.
were right.
I figured because I know the Cosmos archetype, and I'm like, that doesn't sound like a Cosmos card.
Yeah.
If you don't know, it's Cosmos is Alice. No, not Alice in Wonderland. It's Star Wars meets Wizard of Oz, which is amazing.
I mean, the best part about Yu-Gi-Oh is you can think of pretty much any sort of fictional thing that exists, and you're like, what if it was a card game?
Yeah, yeah.
All right, let's see. Here's one. I'll do Despair from the Dark. Yu-Gi-Oh or Dark Souls.
Despair from the. Hmm. Hmm. I'm going with Dark Souls again.
No, it is Yu-Gi-Oh. It is from.
Figured.
Yep.
That's a trap card, isn't it?
That is what looks like it looks like a shadow that is filled with the power of hate is how I can describe it. And let's see, the last one will be, let's see, Yubel Terror Incarnate, Yu-Gi-Oh or Dark Souls.
I know you Bell too well. No, yeah, no shot.
Yep.
That's Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yep. Is the second form of the franchise's favorite non-binary intersex dragon spirit with a with a backstory so complicated I feel like if I watched those episodes it would hurt my head. But
Yeah.
anyway, thank you for playing, Ruby, and I am I don't know. It just Yu-Gi-Oh! And Dark Souls, I'm surprised that there's not more overlap. Anyway, so Ruby, when did you first become interested in video games, just like in general?
Uh, I've been playing video games since I was 2 years old. Legitimately.
I
My
mean,
mom can tell you stories. There was not a time in my life I wasn't playing video games.
like that is basically the same true for me. Like many years ago, my mom told me that when she was pregnant with me, she played like the original Super Mario Bros. A lot. And considering how much of a Nintendo type of person I am now, I feel like it's now actually genetic. And what would you say is your favorite was your favorite game and or games growing up?
Let's see. Twisted Metal, definitely one of them. F-Zero GX for the GameCube.
Mm-hmm.
It's just another one of my favorites of all time. Um, hmm, I almost knocked my camera over. And I don't know, like Banjo Kazooie, I guess.
And that's pretty good.
Yeah,
I mean, for me, it was, the classics of Paper Mario, Ocarina of Time, and Paper Mario: The Thousand Year Door. Which, I don't know. I am determined to write a book about one day, but I need an actual copy of it, which I no longer have. Anyway, not important. So, Ruby, what would you say is your favorite game and or games now?
F-Zero GX, Guilty Gear, and probably Elden Ring.
Mm-hmm. Uh,
Skullgirls is up there too, but like I don't play it as much
mm-hmm.
because the community isn't as varied as it used to be.
Okay. And
Fun fact: you can
oh,
actually see a bunch of my favorite games up above my character's head.
oh yeah, let's see. I see World of Warcraft. I see Undertale, and
Yooka-Laylee, Rainbow Six, Under Night, Halo Reach, Skullgirls, Guilty Gear, Ultra Street Fighter 4, Mega Man X Command Mission, and F-Zero GX.
and everyone's favorite boy Sora too.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm a big Kingdom Hearts fan. Although I wouldn't say it's my favorite game currently. Hmm.
All right, so Ruby, as you said, you are a streamer, and like I very much am not a streamer. So like, just as someone who's not in that space as much as others, like, what is like a typical session of streaming for you? I guess is the prime question.
Well, usually I just game and shoot the shit with some of my best friends
Mm-hmm.
who also enjoyed the game. You know.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then I also talk to stream chat and so on and so forth. But on top of all that, I've been a streamer for like many a year now. Um, because uh, before I worked as a video editor, I was actually a streamer on well, I was a host on a stream like 24-hour channel.
Oh,
That, yep. Unfortunately, they're not around anymore. I abandoned ship right before it crashed and burned. But yeah,
okay. And what gave you what made you interested in like streaming games in the first place?
well, like I said, my first job, I was, or well, it wasn't my first job. My first job was selling T-shirts, but uh, my my last job was basically streaming.
Mm-hmm.
I would go to a place and then they'd be like, "Okay, we are sponsored by X, Y, and Z, so we'll have you play this game to show it off for the viewers." So on and so forth. Um, yeah, so I started streaming that way, and then did that for a few years. Ab- Abandoned ship when I saw it was going downhill, and then took a break from streaming. Now I'm back and better than ever.
Okay, and yeah, I see. Like, when did you add like you were a VTuber, and when did you like add that like component to your streaming, and also what made you want to add it? Did you feel like just having this like approximation of a like this character that everyone associates you with? Do you feel was that the reason, or just like yeah?
Well, okay, so this goes for a bit of an explanation, but I how best to explain this? I when I started, the reason I started, like, I am very camera shy,
Mm-hmm.
which is why I decided to take on the VTuber persona that I have, the Charity Goblin
Mm-hmm.
Ruby or whatever. And I started associating that with myself whenever when I joined the Goblin community last year, which is like a big community of all the streamer goblins, along with like several other people who. Yeah, anyway, I'm getting off track. But the point is that I do this because I'm camera shy, and this helps since like, yeah, this isn't like me, but that's okay. I like, you know I like this, and this is a character who has inspired me in recent years to be the best I can be. So might as well be the best I can be and bring other people joy while doing it.
I mean,
Right?
it's a good as reason as any.
That's my opinion.
Yeah. Um. Um. Yeah, and like this, as someone who's not into like the meats and potatoes of streaming, like what stuff do you use to stream? Like, what's like the computer? What do you use to like show
I
off your VTuber when you are streaming, and like what's the technological side?
Okay. So I use OBS obviously for streaming.
Mm-hmm.
That's I feel like that's an obvious one.
Mm-hmm.
Um, my VTuber model, I'm using VC Face, which is a motion tracking program, hooked up to my iPhone, which is staring me in the face. So it uses my camera to track my face. Uh, and as for my computer, it was a computer built for me by AMD, which I am sponsored by. At least most of my streams are.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I've been and like that's about it. I'm basically like that's all it really takes for me to stream. That and like games on Steam, of course.
Mm-hmm. And like when like what is the criteria you use to like determine like what game you're going to stream? Is it just like a game you would play on your off time anyway, or is it like that, or is it like a game that you think might like engage with your audience?
Okay, well, both kind of
Mm-hmm.
like how best to explain this. I want to play games that I am knowledgeable about and that my audience may know. So like I'm not going to be playing Peglin for like an audience because no offense, it's boring to watch. I love Peglin, but you know.
Mm-hmm.
Or I'm not going to be playing Magic the Gathering online or whatever. It because I don't find it I don't think I would find it entertaining that for people to watch. So I pick games I think would be entertaining to watch and fun to play. So right now I'm currently playing through two games, which are Mass Effect, which I have never played before, but I have my friend helping me walk through it. Helping me help walking me through. Anyway, um, and Kingdom Hearts, which I am an expert in, and I invite my friends to come in and learn about the world of Kingdom Hearts.
Mm-hmm.
You know, well, sorry, Kingdom Hearts 2 specifically, but you know, that's just kind of how it is.
Yeah, and did you, speaking of Kingdom Hearts, did you have the sort of reaction that the rest of the internet did when it was revealed that our boy Sora would be, like, clashing with the other greats in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate?
I think there's a video online of me reacting to that with my friends at TOVG.
Oh. Like,
But
would you say
Smash,
your reaction was, like, comparable to when, like, Gerard the Khalil, the completionist, like, reacted to, like, either Cloud or Banjo Kazooie getting announced for Smash?
yeah, yeah, I was super hyped, but I also kind of knew it was going to happen. Like they were saving the best for last, and everyone knew it. You want to cap off the series, you cap it off big and make Sora a character. Although it is still funny how they cut out Donald and Goofy from anything Kingdom Hearts related.
Oh, yeah. Uh, yeah, and um, yeah, and I know, like, I'm not a streamer, but I know of a few people who are, and just I've been like hearing it through the grapevine, just like I don't know, just do you find uh what are some of like I don't know the hurdles both on like of like streaming? Like, do you feel that like I know Twitch, like I know like sometimes Twitch has dropped the ball in terms of like being a good platform for people what stream on there, but are there any like I don't know difficulties you've encountered in since you've like started streaming to now?
Not not particularly
Mm-hmm.
because I well always find a way to follow the rules, without any problems. Like, I like, and because I'm doing my streaming non for profit, like, I I don't really care how much money I'm making.
Mm-hmm.
So it's not about the money. It's just about having fun, hanging out with friends, being with you know being with them. It's about building a community more so than it is about earning money to me. Making all the friends you make along the way, right?
Yeah. Um. Now, is there a particular moment in streaming either in the beginning, the middle, or like close to the present that has been just like such an amazing time that if anyone like ever asks like what streaming is like, you would bring up that moment and go like that right there?
Yeah, yeah. I got one. I got one. It both encapsulates both the horror of streaming and the absolute mayhem it can cause. Okay?
Okay.
So, have you ever heard of a man named Rick Fox, the
I
basketball player?
I do not think I have.
Okay. Anyway, we used to have him on one of our shows periodically back when I worked for my previous job, and basically people in the chat would try to guess when we were going to die in a battle royale, and this led to stream sniping. Rick Fox gets on the controller, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the stream is going about 5 minutes into the round. 4 cop cars and like 20 randos come over a hill and just light up Rick the entire time. And it's the funniest shit ever. He's just your engine revving in the distance, and it's just, uh-oh. Yeah, I need to fucking find that clip. Because that clip exists on the internet somewhere. I just don't know where. But yeah, that encapsulates everything that's fun and everything that terrifies people about streaming. And I love it.
All right then. And what sort of advice would you give to someone who like sees like streaming and streamers and that sort of community as a whole, and we're thinking of like dipping their toe in that pool? What sort of advice would you give them to, like, I don't know, ensure that like when they start out it's a good start?
Okay, that I can give really good advice on, because it's exactly what I did. So the first thing you're going to want to do is find a streamer you like and join their community. Become a big part of their community and an important member of that. Then then you'll have at least a small following for when you start streaming. Now, also, remember to take your time. Do not rush any of it. Don't be like, it's good enough, I might as well start. Make sure everything is perfect. And then you can start streaming. You know, like, I I've wanted to start streaming for over a year now, and I only started last last month. Last month, yeah, last month. Uh, so that being February, in case anyone's watching this in the future. Um, and also, always keep yourself relevant on social media platforms, or at least, kind of. So, like, even if you're not, like, always, even if you don't really have anything to show off artwork, show off in progress stuff, build hype, get people to shout you out, shout out the artists, give credit, do anything. Make sure you are in general a good person, and that will get you an amazing start.
All right. And yeah, that brings us to the final question, as is customary on the Pumpkin Copter cast. A question that, I'm pretty sure everyone who's ever been on the show can agree is perfectly understandable. Ruby, in your opinion, is video games?
Yes, it is.
All right, you heard it here first, everyone. I would like to thank the internet's Charity Goblin Ruby for joining me on the Pumpkin Copter cast. Yeah, and
Thank you for having me so much.
you're welcome. And Ruby, before we sign off, is there anything and everything you would like to shamelessly plug?
Well, you can find me on Twitch at Charity Goblin Ruby on Twitch, and then you can find me on Twitter at KillerKitten66 or Charity Goblin Ruby. But I'm always around.
Okie doke. If you're looking for a Twitch streamer or someone to follow on the Twitters, Ruby just gave you a great recommendation, and, if you enjoyed this, you can like and subscribe. You can follow me at the Twitters at tgorman83, or just look for Big Debbie. If you would like to hear me talk with a bit more structure to it, you can go on your podcast platform of choice, where I and my friend Tom host Gotta Recap 'Em All, where God is a horse, so nothing is off limits. A recap podcast where Tom and I are, just slowly, very slowly, recapping the entire Pokemon anime. The entire thing, which I would like to point out is almost as old as I am at this point. Yeah, and, if for some reason, if the show is really just, scratching an itch, you can go to patreon.com/thepumpkincoptercast, and, where for as little as $1 a month, you could submit questions for me to use in future interviews. And yeah, this has been the Pumpkin Copter Cast, and as I say at the end of every show, have a gourd day, everyone.
Have a gourd day.